Greetings, everyone. It's great to be with you. Great to be learning with you once again. Thank you for everything you do by way of growing and learning and serving and becoming whole. Indeed, our presentation today is entitled The Drive for Wholeness. Once a student of life has experienced the expansive awareness of cosmic consciousness, only the understanding of each subject and experience in relation to the whole will satisfy. The cosmic sense has been activated, and it operates in this unifying fashion. In the spirit of Sir Isaac Newton, John Dalton, and Albert Einstein, we'll explore the inspiration for this unified conception of all that we encounter. And in this manner, we'll continue to review Rosicrucian laws and principles for the mastery of life, harmonious living, and service. To draw this forward, there's a particular set of images that I'll bring up to show you. So prepare. You'll see the first image now. Back in 1991, there was a very beautiful article written by beloved past Grand Master Christy Knudsen entitled The Magic of Meditation. And as part of that article, she relates the story of an allegorical nature that was well known in China and Japan, titled The Vinegar Tasters. This bears very much in our theme on the drive for wholeness. In the work you see before you from the Kano School of Japan, it dates from the early 17th century. There's ink and mineral pigment and gold leaf. It's a relatively large work, being about 65 3/4 inches high by about 73 5/8 inches wide. It's in the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, which you may know in Boston, Massachusetts. And as the past Grand Master related, and in the traditional stories of it, we have three representative figures of what was known as the three creeds, or the three spiritual philosophies of China. The story would then also be taken and have great currency as well in Japan. This work dates, for example, the early 17th century. And in it, you'll see a theme that was beloved by Zen painters. And it's a legendary episode and an allegory of three famous figures in Chinese history. There's the poet Dao Yuming, the Taoist, and then there's the scholar Yu Zuing, the Buddhist monk Hayun. And according to legend, while spending a relaxing afternoon together in the garden of Huyun's temple, these three compatriots and friends, they drank from an old pot of wine, but it had so aged that it had turned to vinegar. And the figure who's of the Confucian tradition said it was sour and that had not been properly cared for and not proper procedures done and ensure that. The figure who is the Buddhist said that it was bitter, bitter like life, and we have to work to undo this suffering. And the Taoist figure, he said that it tasted sweet, that it was part of the Tao, the great way and harmony of all things. And so in a way here, you could see what may seem like a parody, but it's actually not. It's actually trying to convey the transcendent knowledge or the transcendent unity that's beyond all spiritual creeds, that each spiritual creed directs us into, just like we will do in our meditation practice shortly. And in a way, I remember years ago, a person mentioned to me that we can learn from each philosophy, each ism, so to speak, and that we can take the strengths of each person, the insights that each person have, not dismiss them, And the same with various lines of teaching. We may not agree with all of them, but there will be an important lesson or series of lessons in each one. And it's through this transcendent approach that we come into the deeper understanding of wholeness in life that we'll expand on in this. Related to this, I want to zoom in and show you a little more things about our story here. You'll see in the close-up here, there's the different sacred gestures on figures, and there's also a ladle here. You can see they're very involved in the tasting and experiencing. And we see the tree and we see the um, shrub with its flowers and the suggesting the harmony, and the gold suggesting the enriching um, understanding when we know the underlying laws and principles of nature. And it's in this regard that there was other stories of China that related to these unity of the three creeds. On the left, you'll find again three figures representing Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism. And the work on the left is entitled "The Three Laughers of Tiger Ravine," and you'll see the ravine and the water to the right, and then again the beautiful expression of the tree and the mountains. Indeed, the Buddhist figure here, he had made the vow that he would not leave the holy mountain temple. But he was having such a good time and such a deep philosophical discussion that he wandered off the boundary that he had set for himself um, in, into the Tiger Ravine. And when they realized that happened, they all had a good laugh together. In a way, it's a little bit like we sometimes hear about there's the letter of the law and there's the spirit of the law. And we always want to make sure that if we're applying the law, that we're also doing it in a way that enhances its original intention, its original meaning, and its sense of wholeness in an ethical sense, and the spirit of the law. And a way in their laughter, and laughter in general allows us to transcend and see things uh, in a new way. So rather than being mortified by breaking his vow, he saw it in a deeper way. Similar to this, we'll find various other beautiful depictions in the history of art of the vinegar tasters. This is again a Japanese depiction in the 16th century. Let's zoom in on the faces to get the full expressions. And you'll see each has a sacred gesture associated with their different spiritual traditions. In the Rosicrucian teachings, we talk about how we need to realize that we're experiencing a reality, that the system and order of consciousness, of the underlying system and order of vibration, which is the actuality. As we grow and mature in our understanding, have more grasp of the whole through the cosmic sense and cosmic consciousness, we can see things differently in a more expanded perspective, in a way encompassed by these three vinegar tasters and their spiritual philosophies. In a similar fashion, I'll show you another later depiction of this work of art that gives a sense of the expansiveness. You see the three vinegar tasters, but there's also like a great radiant sun behind, suggesting the transcendent, deeper understanding. Now, while it can be valuable and each person can see in their own way, if they wish to take up a various different spiritual traditions or particularly concentrate on one, it's good to have a systematic approach over time. That's part of the beauty of the Rosicrucian teachings, is that we have practical teachings of a wise nature that are given to us weekly. And there's an opportunity to practice and apply them, and also the mystical exercise and the exercises. So we grow in that understanding and then take in the greater sense of the whole as we appreciate, move from the self-conscious to the cosmic consciousness, which is suggestive of this radiant image of the unity of the three creeds before us. Inspired by this story and this radiant image before us, let's use this as an inspiration for our own drive for wholeness. And we'll do that by meditating together before we continue the main body of our presentation. I invite you to get comfortable in your chairs, or if you're lying down or however you're situated, And it's very helpful if you can breathe in an unencumbered way. I invite you to close your eyes, let go of visual stimulation as we turn more inward. And you may wish to follow your breath or anchor yourself or center yourself on your breath. And we can do what Rosicrucians refer to as neutral breathing, either holding the inhalation or holding the exhalation. And we'll understand our breathing as a vibratory phenomenon. Everything manifests as vibration. Let's just enjoy the gentle rhythm of the breath. I invite you to the degree comfortable for you to breathe deeper than you usually do. And if you have a window open, especially, you can feel that freshness of the air, cosmic essence of vital life force, enriching you, enriching, ennobling, tingling, a wonderful tonic effect. And breathing a little deeper than usual, I invite you to the degree comfortable to you to extend your exhalation longer than your inhalation. And this also has a wonderful tonic effect. Where the extended exhalation longer than the inhalation automatically invokes the relaxation response, the stimulation of the great vagus nerve. And stimulating the vagus nerve, it works with the autonomic nervous system. We move towards autonomic balance. The two great poles that apply the law of duality make up the autonomic nervous system, the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. One allows us and assists us in action. The other assists us in reflection, contemplation, thoughtful assessment. Both are needed to guide us through life. It's like the two left and right handlebars of a bicycle as we steer down a street. Here we're guiding ourselves through life with the assistance of these two nervous systems. And with each extended exhalation, longer inhalation, we feel the building effect of calmness, tranquility, which we'll spiritualize. Calmness is so important in life to enjoy our lives, to enter into joy, be able to think clearly, accurately, and precisely, to allow our bodies to heal, and many other wondrous things. All these are part of the great wisdom of the body, the wisdom of the holy temple that we are. Continue this breathing exercise, which is a form of meditation. And in it, we're applying the law of purification, the law of cosmic attunement. If we find our mind wandering at any point, just lovingly and gently bring it back to the discipline of the breath. No need for any self-negativity in that or anything else in our life. And the calmness of meditation will assist us in not indulging in self-negativity. But in healthy assessment, yes. Healthy discernment, yes. Healthy growing up, yes. Soon we'll continue our meditation by applying the instructions, a key instructional booklet of the Rosicrucians, Liber 777. I'll give you the resources on it later on in this presentation. We'll ascend to the heights of the celestial sanctum. We'll apply the drive for wholeness to rise up to the center of the universe, at the center of our being. And then we'll let go and surrender to attune with the cosmic. Just as the three vinegar taster transcended their creeds and enter into oneness together, so will we. I invite you at this time to envision or sense yourself rising up from wherever you're situated. Rising up over your home or office or building. Rising up over your neighborhood, enjoying the exhilaration of the ascent and going faster and faster, using all your imaginative capacity and all the psychic faculties. Continue to rise up over your local geographic area or village or town or city, rising up over your county, sensing the system and order in the landforms and the water systems and the weather systems below. As we now rise up over your province or state, going faster and faster, enjoying the exhilaration of the ascent, deriving into greater and greater experience of wholeness. So we now look down upon our great nation or country, and even the continent where we dwell, and even now the hemisphere where we dwell, and the entire temple of the earth, beautiful blue jewel rotating about its axis. So we look up and go faster and faster, way beyond the speed of light as we transcend space and time. We sense the great elliptical orbits of the planets of our solar system, and the great fiery ball of the sun, our local star, and its tremendous radiations of energy. Continue to rise up beyond the outer reaches of our solar system. Vastness suggesting a cosmic consciousness within us. Past nebula and stellar phenomena like quasars and pulsars and black holes helping balance the universe. Past myriad stars, asteroids, rogue planets, enjoying the beauty of it all. Sensing what has been spoken of since ancient times as the harmony of the spheres, the music of the spheres. A harmony that the Rosicrucians speak of as on the great cosmic keyboard. As we rise higher and higher, we sense that we're in a great arm of the Milky Way galaxy. As we exit that arm, we see below us a great apparently spiraling arm rotating about a great black hole at the center of the Milky Way galaxy. As we look up, we see again another galaxy, spiraling arms, and other shapes, and nebula, a great cosmic web connecting the stars and the galaxies, rising higher and higher, faster and faster, sensing what the Rosicrucians refer to as the cosmic. That is the entire cosmos, but also the universal intelligence back of it, the natural spiritual laws governing it, its operations. As we rise higher and higher, faster and faster, experiencing the universal intelligence back of the great temple of the cosmos. And we even sense now the entire universe rotating about the cosmic axis spoken of since ancient times. We sense one stupendous, awe-inspiring circular motion. We sense the presence of that great cosmic axis and let us zoom towards its midpoint, the very center of the cosmos, about which all revolves. And as you reach that center point of the universe, the midpoint of the cosmic axis, let us slow up and dwell there in awe and wonder of the temple of the divine all before us. Sensing the great wholeness in all its operations, its underlying unity, and its apparent diversity. And while we're at this high point consciousness, the center of the universe, at the center of our being, let us apply further instructions of the Rosicrucian booklet, Liber 777, by visualizing or mentally creating our personal sacred space. It may be simply a great temple of the divine all about us, or maybe an inspiring place in nature back on the temple of the earth, or maybe an inspiring sacred edifice or temple on earth. Whatever it is, mentally create it, visualize it, fill it in with sights and sounds and all the impressions of the senses, but also the psychic senses and the overall spiritual upliftment of being at this high point in consciousness. With others on this conference call with us, with the Grand Lodge and Supreme Grand Lodge officers of the Rosicrucian Order conducting a convocation, with the visible and invisible masters and their radiant presence with us. Make your visualization, your mental creation, your personal celestial sanctum real and vital and inspiring, ennobling and enriching. I'll give you some time. Create it, and then we'll indicate when we release it and let it manifest. And we'll release our mental creation, assured that cosmic law fulfills, knowing already its deep experience. I invite you now to release it and say with me, if it pleases the cosmic, it is done. So mote it be. Now let us dwell in stillness and well-being and wholeness. Allowing the law of silence and the law of cosmic attunement. Recently sense the presence of the divine within, the master within, our true guide in nature. Feel all there is to feel. Meditation is a profound act of non-avoidance. Whatever comes forward, let go. Let flow. Be receptive and surrender to the divine within. Before we conclude our period of meditation, the heights of the celestial sanctum, let us undertake a further spiritual operation of the work and worship of the Rosicrucian order Amok. Let us work as a silent council in conjunction with the Council of Solace, to radiate love and well-being to all those who have petitioned the Grand Lodge of the Rosicrucian order Amok for guidance and healing. And let us radiate love and well-being to all those who have petitioned the affiliate bodies of the Rosicrucian order Amok for guidance and healing. And let us radiate love and well-being to all those you know who are in need of guidance and healing. And finally, let us radiate love and well-being to all sentient beings throughout the cosmos who are in need of guidance and healing. Let the radiations of love and well-being move out from your mind and your heart like a great floodlight filling the cosmos, reaching those in need. First, use great spiritual force. At a certain point, I think you'll find that without conscious effort, it will flow with the assistance of the divine within. It'll even speed up and we'll know we're reaching those in need. And when that happens, just surrender and let the radiations unfold. Knowing this is a work of service and cosmic attunement that is our birthright. Soon we'll formally conclude this work of the Silent Council in conjunction with the Council of the Souls. But we'll continue our period of meditation a while longer, assured that these radiations of love and well-being will continue from deep within our being, with the guidance of the divine within. We'll formally conclude this period of sending a metaphysical aid by saying together, if it pleases the cosmic, it is done. Cosmic law fulfills, so mote it be. I invite you to stay a while longer at the heights of the celestial sanctum, allowing your mind to merge with the cosmic mind, just as the radiations of love and well-being went out to the cosmos. Allow your mind to expand, to fill the cosmos, to be the cosmic, to experience as the cosmic experiences, to assume the cosmic now. Soon we'll formally conclude this period of cosmic attunement, the heights of the celestial sanctum. Before we make our descent, I invite you to invoke the law of gratitude, which will intensify the application of the law of cosmic attunement by expressing our gratitude and thanks to all those who have loved us well, to all those who have taught us well, and to all those who have sacrificed well on our behalf. Now let us make our descent from the heights of the celestial sanctum, going at tremendous speed, way beyond the speed of light, as we transcend space and time, past the myriad galaxies, stellar phenomena, quasars, the pulsars, the black holes balancing the universe. Enjoying the wonder of it all. Great cosmic web connecting the stars and galaxies. Beautiful, transcendent music, the harmony of the spheres. And faster back to our home. We see in the distance, in the great spiraling galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy. And as we come to it, let us plunge into the arm where our home is, past the myriad stars, comets, asteroids, rogue planets, asteroids, quasars, and pulsars. You see in the distance the sun, our local star, the beautiful elliptical orbits of our solar system. We come back to the beautiful blue jewel of the earth, the temple of the earth. In the hemisphere where we left off, a continent, a great nation or country. A province or state, our county, our local geographic area, village, town, or city, in our neighborhood. I invite with you to say with me the following prayer and invocation. Close formally our meditation. May the God of my heart sanctify this attunement of self with the celestial sanctum. And let us descend further back on the building or the home or dwelling where we left off, the room, however we're situated, feeling recharged, re-energized, rested, making this cosmic attunement, this experience of wholeness and letting go with us now and always, and fulfilling our mission in life. When you're ready, you may wish to open your eyes and stretch, and we'll continue our meditation. Thank you. Staying on our topic, the drive for wholeness, we've just experienced. One could say the title of this presentation could also be The Quest for Unity. I wanted to use the term drive, give a sense of the energeticness. But quest is also important as well. We can also think of this topic as the movement to becoming whole. In other words, that's a description of being healed, becoming fully healthy. Indeed, one of the reasons for the orientation towards wholeness is to be fully healed, fully healthy, and mature. Now, in this drive, doesn't mean one always has to hang tough. In fact, letting go is an important part of life. Just like when we did our meditation period, we used a tremendous amount of energy and drive to rise to the heights of the celestial sanctum, to go deep within ourselves through the law of correspondence. Where as we went higher and higher, we went deeper and deeper within ourself. And then we let go. We surrendered. And the letting go can mean allowing the deeper parts of our nature to go to work, to be activated, unencumbered by our outer nature. During meditation, one can take a particular issue that one wants to solve or resolve. Generally, the deepest part of our nature knows what needs to be done and what needs to be resolved and directed. And in letting go, after the period of meditation, or even the period of meditation, we'll have novel thoughts on how to piece together the larger picture in our life, or a distilled insight, like an alchemical distillation, on how to proceed. And just as our heart becomes slowed up, moves into optimal heart rate variability while we were meditating, our heart works more efficiently and takes longer breaks. And that's a model for our own life. That in that drive and then letting go, we have opportunities to work more efficiently, then have that rest period, that re-energization period, the break, just like our heart is doing. I know some of you have been or are athletes and have a great inclination towards athleticism and athletics and training. And we can use all those life lessons for the greater life lessons of self-mastery. Is at the heart of the Rosicrucian tradition, and indeed all humanity. As part of that drive to excel in sports, can be taken for the drive for the greater sport, the greater game, greater understanding and living. Or also in your career or in any undertaking where you've excelled, I think you find that there was a certain drive, a certain strong motivation We can take that drive and motivation was invaluable to excel or master in that area. The same too, we can have those transferable skills for the larger mastery of life. And by mastery of life, we mean harmonium, the harmony on all levels of our being, realization of harmony with others, with our environment, with the cosmos, and a great sense of oneness that is at the heart of mysticism. In striking this regard, Imperator Claudio Mazuka of the Rosicrucian Order Amorc has emphasized to us the importance of connections, the connectedness of us all with each other, and with all beings and all manifestations. Indeed, to have the deepest meaning in our life requires having a deep sense of connection. And as spoken of earlier, once as a student of life, we've had a taste or an experience of the cosmic consciousness of the cosmic. Only understanding of each subject and experience in relation to the whole will satisfy. Indeed, as the deepest thinkers throughout epochs shown us, the greatest understanding comes through understanding the relationship to the whole. That is, for the depth of meaning, the tremendous love and the experience of cosmic consciousness. We then experience that we need to, deeply want to, we have the drive to live it, to sustain it, and nurture it. Indeed, the cosmic sense that is given rise by the experience of cosmic consciousness and through meditative experiences like we just did, it's increasingly activated, and it operates in this unifying fashion. The outer nature operates more in diversity. These deeper faculties gather that diversity in the underlying laws and principles as a unity, not only as a concept, but as an astonishing and uplifting experience. Indeed, in this regard, the inspiring mystic Louis-Claude de Saint-Martin mentions, as we've often heard, all mystics speak the same language, or they come from the same country. Just like our vinegar tasters had the experience of that deeper underlying mystical teaching in their various inspired traditions. In a way, each inspired tradition, whether it comes from the Buddha, historical figure, or Lao Tzu, or from Confucius, or their disciples and trains, is that they've had the experience of the cosmic, and then they expound their creed, just like we as living representations inspired by those figures are called to wade into these deeper waters of life ourselves and develop our own personal philosophy. This is true with the way of the science and the arts and the crafts. They're all working with common underlying motivations for wholeness, completeness. We saw this in a very inspiring way during the Middle Ages, for example, in stained glass windows or in illuminated manuscripts. There to be a depiction of an inspiring and thrown figure of philosophy. Philosophy in the traditional sense that the Rosicrucians used it well as the love of wisdom. That this enthroned figure, she would have radiating out from her wisdom by lines of radiation to the 7 or more liberal arts, that her wisdom is informing them, but also by practicing those liberal arts, those crafts, those arts and sciences, we're drawn back to the deeper underlying pattern of wisdom, and that drive for wholeness is fulfilled in the motivation to excel in the various arts and crafts and sciences. We'll see this also, I think you'll find, think of an inspiring teacher that you've had if you've been so fortunate. They may not have viewed themselves as a student of mysticism. They might even view themselves as having a drive for wholeness, but I think you'll find that an excellent teacher will give you a sense of wisdom guiding the subject they are teaching. They'll give you a sense of wholeness and context, the value and importance of it in their mastery of that subject. And that's part of the reason they were so inspiring, because they drew that deeper sense of the divine within that they were operating with in you. We see this in the weekly monographs of the Rosicrucian teachings. One of the reasons I find them so inspiring is that they are written with the whole context in mind. We experience that wholeness and movement and realization to it in studying and applying the lessons and doing the exercises. There's that added aspect of the Rosicrucian teachings, often compared to a textbook in a particular subject in school, that is written more from that viewpoint of philosophy radiating out, that sense of deeper purpose and understanding. There's a larger picture guiding us to do with the mastery of life for us by those who have experienced that mastery and are calling us to us through awakening the divine within as they just woken theirs. You see this type of wholeness also in various traditional stories. There's one, for example, I think you've often heard of the elephant. There's persons in a darkened room or space examining an elephant, and you'll see it. This is an important story, for example, in Islamic mysticism and other mystical traditions. That each of the teachers, the aspirants, the students, they're in the dark, they're touching different parts of the elephant. Could be the part of the leg or the tail or its great spout or its ear. And they're getting different experiences of reality. Yet, in the drive for wholeness, they experience that, just like transcending the three creeds and experiencing the whole elephant is a story, especially when the light can be turned on by the divine illumination and one can experience, see, and be the whole. You know, in this spirit, it reminds me of persons that have been associated with the Rosicrucian teachings. And in the spirit of, for example, Sir Isaac Newton, John Dalton, and Albert Einstein. They all were inspired figures, all with a drive for wholeness, to have a unified conception of it and all that they encountered. You find this with Newton, with his different laws and principles for motion, the diversity that is all about, but through laws and principles, motion, unifying it, also in optics and also in various other arts and sciences, including alchemy. We see in John Dalton in his inspiring work and lessons through so that are of us that the Rosicrucians are related to do with the underlying principles of geometry and number, going back in ancient times through the Pythagorean tradition that all has expressed itself in number. So John Dalton was inspired in terms of the underlying geometry and numerical structure of atoms and molecules, and was a great foundation for development of chemistry. We see this also in the inspired student Albert Einstein and his drive to understand the fundamental forces of the universe, this tremendous diversity about us, and yet seeing the underlying laws and principles, again, through mathematics in the inspiring Pythagorean tradition. And with the discovery and development laws and principles that we go through in our Rosicrucian traditions and studying in our own careers, the arts and sciences and crafts, increasingly become aware of the underlying unity, that there is a process of unification taking place in our realizations. Each of us in our own way is making progress in unifying knowledge and making connections and seeming disparate phenomena. In fact, that's part of being a master in a particular subject, meaning of life at all, is to see the underlying principles in whatever situation and knowing immediately how to apply them. Because it's in some sense a variation on a theme that we're already familiar with. We see this working in various ways about us. For example, we note on occasion in healthcare systems, health professionals will meet as a team with a particular patient, that is the person in healing, to discuss their views from their different health and medical specialties, to assist in making the connections that might be otherwise missed if they operated alone. Each contributes their specialized knowledge to help piece together the whole, which is what the patient, the person at the center, is experiencing as a whole person. We note too, of course, in research projects that it is common for specialists in different areas who work as a team. They need to listen carefully to each other, take seriously each other's disciplines, so they can make a breakthrough overall. We see this too, for example, in persons pursuing highly specialized subject areas, which you may have done. That on reflection, though, over the years, we can see larger patterns begin to match a philosophical perspective as we see the larger understanding of our subject area that we've highly specialized in. We start to see patterns that apply to how other subject areas are taken up. I remember, for example, one of my statistics professors at university mentioned that the subject of statistics is one big thing, one big entity, not simply a collection of many different separate procedures. You may learn different statistical tests, different statistical models, and so forth, but they all have an underlying pattern mathematically and experientially together. And when one grasps that, one is less daunted by the subject and can be more readily make breakthroughs in understanding and assist others to be not so fearful of the subject or more enjoy it and use it to their applications and however they're applying it. Indeed, life experience draws us into the whole. Our period of meditation does that. Our Rosicrucian lessons on the laws and principles of life do that. Our applying of all these matters, of laws and principles in our life, they all assist us in doing this. So by way of conclusion on this theme and topic of the drive for wholeness, we've considered how once we've had an experience of the expansive awareness, cosmic consciousness, only the understanding of each subject and experience in relation to the whole will satisfy us. Because we've had a taste or a depth experience of the whole, and we're drawing that back to ourselves. We've experienced in a way our true nature in realization. This cosmic sense that's then been developed has been activated, and it operates in this unifying fashion. In the spirit of inspiring mystics and figures such as Sir Isaac Newton, John Dalton, and Albert Einstein, we've seen in our own life that we've explored the inspiration for this a unified way of seeing things, that all that we encounter and have a deeper sense of love, well-being, and meaning through it. And in this way, we've continued to review Rosicrucian laws and principles for the mastery of life, harmonious living, and service. Thank you.